President. Well, I mean, I would like to echo the sentiment shared by Senator Steele-John, and I can assure you, as long as I'm standing here, the Coalition will also be standing up for people with a disability, participants on the NDIS and their families. This is absolutely shameful. A request for documents that would apparently damage the relationship between the states and territories. Now, some of us that have been around the NDIS space for a while, we know that Julia Gillard, the former Prime Minister, gave a leave pass to every single state and territory government to absolutely abandon the playing field when it came to disability services that are supposed to be developed and produced and rolled out by state governments. Instead, they have vacated the field. They have left everything to the sole responsibility of the NDIS. And I know this because Community Health Services stopped for my son because he had a diagnosed disability. We were told we had to go to the NDIS. The NDIS didn't exist in the rural and regional town we lived in, but that didn't matter. Community Health, run by New South Wales State Government, told us we could no longer access those services because of a diagnosed disability. It was shameful. You can only imagine the phone calls I made about that, and that was rectified for children across the Hunter New England region. That's no longer the case, well, it certainly wasn't 10 years ago. But it is absolutely disgraceful. A government that came to power claiming they'd be transparent, being as opaque as possible when it comes to people that are most vulnerable in our society. This government owes an apology to absolutely every NDIS participant and their family. You are out there espousing as a government that there are savings to be made, that the growth will be capped. We don't know how. Are you going to start chucking people off? Are you going to start excluding disabilities? How is this going to be made possible? Apparently you know, because there is agreement between the state and the Commonwealth, but you are too cozied up and buddied up to be honest and upfront with people with a disability. Shame on you. This is beyond disgraceful. But if we ever needed to see what a shambles this government is and how much disrespect they have for this chamber, because they constantly show it, is the fact that their depth of talent is so shallow. We have 4 ministers in this place, and at the moment we only have 1 in the building because they are so incompetent and so incapable of treating not only this chamber but the Australian people with any respect. They govern for their union mates and themselves and nobody else. They certainly don't govern for people with a disability. They do not govern for people with NDIS plans nor support their families. They are a disgrace. They should own up to the disgrace, and I look forward, which is a very unusual partnership, to standing with Senator Steele-John to continue demanding these documents and anything else that will give certainty to those most vulnerable in our community. No wonder none of you can look up. No wonder no one in this chamber is sitting from the government side, because you should all be ashamed of yourselves.